The country for live national call-in shows Thursday evenings for the first 100 days. How will we all get vaccinated? How do we improve the economy so there are enough jobs? How do we fight against racism? And how do we restore democracy? America, are we ready for the first 100 days? Tomorrow night at 8 on WNYC.
The Marketplace Morning Report is coming up next here on WNYC, and later on Morning Edition, the number of carjackings has increased dramatically in many cities, and the assailants are often extremely young.
If you've got a 12-year-old or 11-year-old who's out there engaging in this behavior, there is something wrong.
We'll look at how this problem is playing out in Chicago coming up in about 15 minutes. WNYC will continue to bring you NPR's live coverage of the impeachment trial of former President Trump. That is starting today at noon. Join us for coverage and analysis, or you can watch a live video stream at WNYC.org. Again, that is starting today at noon. 27 degrees now, mostly sunny skies expected, a high of 35 degrees today. Tomorrow, some light snow in the morning. Once again, a high around 35.
When essential workers may not be employees.
Marketplace Morning Report is supported by the United States Postal Service, offering postage stamps for purchase at more than 40,000 supermarkets, drugstores, office suppliers, and wholesale clubs. And by C3.ai. C3.ai software enables organizations to use artificial intelligence at enterprise scale, solving previously unsolvable business problems. Learn more at C3.ai.
I'm David Brancaccio. Good morning to you. General Motors reports its profits and revenue later this morning. Yesterday, the company said it's had to stop production at 3 vehicle assembly plants because of a global shortage of microchips that we've been following here. It could be mid-March before production resumes. Marketplace's Andy Euler looks at the effect on the auto workers.
The 3 plants are in Canada, Mexico, and Kansas. GM says the U.S. plant employs some 2,000 workers. Jeff Shockley at Virginia Commonwealth University says a temporary closure, as opposed to a plant shutting down for good, is relatively common in the auto industry.
Temporarily closing plants is not necessarily a huge concern because of a supply shortage, although it might send a signal that there's inherent supply chain or capacity problems.
According to the Auto Workers Union, those U.S. employees will receive supplemental pay and unemployment that pays 75 to 80% of their salary and benefits. Sam Firani at Auto Forecast Solutions says the keyword here is temporary.
They're down for a week or 2 or 3. These people will come back in and they may have to give up a summer break to make up for it later.
But they're not out of a job. GM also said the semiconductor shortage and temporary plant closures do not change the company's, quote, commitment to an all-electric future. I'm Andy Euler for Marketplace.
As part of a broader reappraisal of brands long criticized for their demeaning or racist roots, there's now a new name for what had been Aunt Jemima pancake mix. It'll be called Pearl Milling Company. Marketplace's Nova Safo has some details.
The Aunt Jemima brand got its name from a character in racist minstrel shows of the 19th century. The name survived through more than 100 years of change, but following the Black Lives Matter protests last summer, the brand's owner, Quaker Oats, which itself is owned by Pepsi, said it would get rid of the label. Now Aunt Jemima pancakes and syrups will be sold under the name Pearl Milling Company, a nod to the original manufacturer of the pancake mix. Other brands are making similar changes. Mars renamed Uncle Ben's Rice. It's now Ben's Original. Eskimo Pie ice cream changed its name to Eddie's Pie. And after decades of protests, the NFL team in Washington dropped its old name, which was offensive to Native Americans. I'm Nova Safo for Marketplace.
Checking markets, London's FTSE index is up 0.4%. Here, the Dow future up 99 points, 0.3%. Similar percentage rise for the S&P future. The Nasdaq future is up 0.4%. The benchmark 10-year interest rate up this morning, 1.17%.
Marketplace Morning Report is supported by GEP. GEP helps businesses build more resilient supply chains with strategy, managed services, and AI-based cloud-native software, including the GEP Smart Digital Procurement Platform and GEP Next, real-time supply chain visibility and management software. GEP.com. And by Avalara, simplifying sales tax compliance with cloud-based solutions. Avalara automatically integrates with more than 700 of the most widely used ERP and e-commerce solutions. Avalara, tax compliance done right. And by Indeed, committed to helping businesses hire people with the skills they need. More at Indeed.com/credit.
Marketplace's documentary podcast called The Uncertain Hour has a new season out now, looking at how, while many jobs in America are crucial, many are not employees. A crucial job at any time, but especially during pandemic, is janitor, where people are often working for subcontractors and not employees of any firm. My colleague, Marketplace's Chrissy Clark, host of The Uncertain Hour, is here with us. Good morning.
Hey, David.
So now a janitor, a custodian, may not be an employee on the same payroll as others, the independent contract janitor. And you're set up here to give me a name?
Yes, his name is Jerry Vasquez from Southern California. And in the mid-2000s, Jerry was looking for work with flexibility and independence because he was helping care for his dad, who was very sick. And Jerry saw this ad for a company called JanPro. It said JanPro could help Jerry start his own personal janitorial business through this franchise model. For a down payment of $5,000, in Jerry's case, plus some monthly franchise fees and loan payments, JanPro said they'd find Jerry cleaning jobs, do the billing, and Jerry would focus on getting the buildings clean. Jerry was intrigued. He borrowed money from his parents, and he went for it.
How did it work out for him?
Not well. He quickly realized just how much in franchise fees and loan payments that JanPro was taking out of his check each month. And on top of that, he says the cleaning accounts that JanPro found and negotiated for him just did not bring in enough money, given how long it took to clean the buildings. And then when Jerry did the math, he realized he was only making about $5 an hour. And the more he thought about it, even though JanPro called him an independent contractor, JanPro had so much control and economic power over him that he really felt more like an employee, or worse.
They would go and check my account every month. They would tell me, hey, you need to dust here, or if you're not wearing your JanPro shirt, they could fine you $50 for that. Felt like I wasn't a franchise owner. It felt like I was an employee that was basically just paying for a job, cleaning toilets after we had already paid them thousands.
Jerry's experience is common enough that he and a number of other JanPro janitors have filed a lawsuit. They claim really they should be considered employees with all the rights that come with that label, like making at least minimum wage. And JanPro's not the only janitorial franchise company that's faced a lawsuit like this in the last several years. In some cases, the janitors have already won.
And how has a firm that organizes these janitorial franchising relationships responded to claims like this?
Well, JanPro argues that cleaners like Jerry do have enough control and independence to be considered independent contractors. And they also say that if they had to classify these janitors as employees, it could upend their whole business model.
My Marketplace colleague, Chrissy Clark, host of our podcast, The Uncertain Hour. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
There is a new episode of The Uncertain Hour out this morning where you can hear more about the experience of this janitor who fought back. Subscribe for free wherever you like to sign up for podcasts. I'm David Brancaccio with the Marketplace Morning Report. From APM, American Public Media,